I'm Christopher Zweig, and today on CJ at the Movies, I dish on some new films, including the new Fast and Furious sequel, a horror comedy starring Sam Richardson, and a horror movie that rips off Rosemary's Baby starring Ilana Glazer and Pierce Brosnan. Let's take a look. Our first movie is F9, the latest Fast and Furious sequel, and I must say, F this movie. I was a fan of the franchise, of Furious 7 being the last entertaining one, but after they chose to make the 8th film, this is just a lame attempt to beat the Marvel Cinematic Universe at their own game. Vin Diesel is back as Dominic Toretto, and so is Michelle Rodriguez as his wife Letty. They both have a new enemy to face, his younger brother played by John Cena, who is involved with a plot to control a deadly virus. There are so many ridiculous action sequences here, including magnetic trucks, which provide some very lame jokes. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. My space theory is about to come true because Cena is planning to hack a satellite to pull off the diabolical plot, and so Tyrese Gibson and Ludacris must go into space to destroy that satellite. How did we not see that coming?
Really? Duct tape? You acting like we on our way to Home Depot. Punch it! No, Ted! I don't want to die!
Director Justin Lin returns to the franchise, and Sung King is back from the dead, while Charlize Theron is still at large with a very bad Dumb and Dumber hairstyle, and there are also flashback sequences involving Dominic's past, which aren't painted with all this cinematic junk food this sequel bestows on the franchise, and Cena does work as the bad brother, but F9 is too lame, too boring, and too generic for me to enjoy. It's more of the same chases, half of which are completely unrealistic, while the other half are just plain dull. This might be a box office hit, but I think we can agree this franchise is running out of gas. Our next movie is Werewolves Within, and as an independent horror comedy, I was surprised to know that this was based off of a video game. Unlike most of the big-budgeted films based on them, however, this one is actually smart and funny. Sam Richardson from TV's Veep stars as a knife sheriff transferred in a new Vermont town that begins to become haunted by a werewolf, and its colorful residents begin to turn on one another.
How did they get out?
Who says he got out?
Maybe.
I'm a werewolf.
Maybe you're a werewolf. Maybe you're a werewolf. Maybe you're a werewolf. You're a werewolf. You're a werewolf. Maybe we're all werewolves.
Are we really in a Mexican standoff right now?
Baby, don't say Mexican. Just stand up.
Werewolves Within isn't always understandable, but on the plus side, it's neither dumb nor tedious, and a lot of credit for that goes to director Josh Rubin for giving the film an awkward sense of humor, as well as some talented comedy actors like Richardson, Milena Weintraub, Harvey Guillén, and Michaela Watkins, who crack jokes at their own expenses. And as I finished watching this movie, I still wasn't convinced this was based off a video game, because it doesn't act like one, and that's refreshing. It's supposed to act like an indie with a sense of nostalgia, and on that level, it howls up a storm. So check it out! And our last movie is False Positive, and it tells the story of a married couple who try and fail to have a baby and turn to specialist Pierce Brosnan for help. Ilana Glazer co-writes and stars as the main pregnant woman, and Justin Theroux is her husband. She starts to suspect that something went wrong during her procedure, and this is when the movie wants to mimic the classic style of Rosemary's Baby in a more contemporary sense.
A little crazy. I'm seeing things.
Honey, me too. I'm having the wildest mommy brain lately.
I don't think it's mommy brain. I think Dr. Rindle did something. I think they're in on it.
In on what?
Glazer gives her best movie performance as a pregnant woman trying to prove her sanity while figuring out the real twists and turns behind all this. But as a writer, she doesn't craft anything as vivid or thrilling as she intended False Positive to be. When we see the few surprises, we're compelled by them, but when we see the standard elements, we're bored by them. So, skip it. Now let's recap the movies I reviewed today. Thumbs down for F9, the latest Fast and Furious movie that's too generic for me to enjoy. I think this franchise is running out of gas. Thumbs up, however, for the horror comedy Werewolves Within, which has an awkward sense of humor and a likable lead from Sam Richardson. And finally, thumbs down for False Positive, which has its moments, but not much else. I'm Christopher Zweig. Stay safe, and I'll see you at the movies. For more amazing content, please like and subscribe to my channels. You can also read my reviews at cjatthemovies.com and listen to my podcast reviews at newhdradio.com.